Hi there guys, Zhang here, and in part 5 of the video, I'm going to show you my decks. I've got a lot of decks. Okay, so these are my completed decks. Hold on, let me do some unprofessional editing and open the curtains, because lighting. Ugh, okay, and I could edit that out if I knew how. Anyway, here's my completed decks. And there's my not completed decks. I'll start with my ones that are completed first. I'll take one out at random. We'll talk about it. So let's go. Okay, this one. So all my decks are labelled. I have a labeler. I'm very sad. This is my lucky deck. It consists of cards that all require a coin toss or a dice roll. Like, this deck is for fun. This deck is not for, like, actual use, really, in like a tournament. So we have stuff like Sand Gambler. So all these cards revolve around dice coin, flips, and dice rolls. So that's Lucky Deck. Crazy Box is fun to make. What's this? This is Water, one of my older decks. This is actually one of my more competitive decks that can be quite good, but it is quite slow. It revolves around, I've built it so it's around Tornado Wall, and then all the different variations of the Umi card. And also the Legendary Fisherman. This deck is me. It's a stall deck. I lock up my field with Tornado War and Umi, and then just have a bunch of like direct attacks going. Like you got the Barnacle card, and you just have this Amphigamous Machine type thing, and you have all basically just it's a lot of stall and then just small attack, small attack, small attack, small attack, and completed extra deck with all water monsters. So that's pretty impressive. I like that. Next, statues. This is my most recent completed deck. This deck is a total lock deck. It's based around the barrier statues. I'll show one here. They are all the same, essentially. So as you can see, when this is on the field, you can't special summon anything except for fire. There's one for different attributes. There's one for each attribute. So if you have that one and a wind one, then you can't special summon anything. So it's basically a lock deck. I played it in my tournament for the first time, my local tournament. I did 2-5, so not bad. Pretty okay. Next, Dustins. Personal favourite of mine. It is an archetype not many people know about. I always get asked about Dustins. I will do videos on decks in more detail, but this is just a brief overall. So Dustins are these little creatures here. Basically, it works with this card. If this card gets destroyed by battle or card effect, yep. It goes to the graveyard. I can then special summon these little things you see on the picture on the opponent's side of the field and my side of the field, but it has to be the exact same amount, and they can't be tribute summoned, XYZ'd. Just basically they can't do anything. And then I get Goblin King out, which gets 1,000 for each fiend type monster on the field. These are fiends, so he gets 8,000 attack. I attack it, and they all have 0 attack, so I attack into it and I win the game. OTK. I like Dustins a lot. Next, Harpies, one of my older decks as well. This is a less competitive deck. There are ways to make Harpies competitive, but I don't really. Yeah, I'm not too interested in making them competitive because I like them the way they are. Just kind of like a fun deck. Revolve around Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3. So I've got all the other Harpy cards. I just would rather have the original Harpy Lady 1, 2, 3. Revolves around the way I win is getting Harpies, the XYZ out, the Pet Dragon XYZ. And then just winning with that, and Heartland Draco. So a lot of direct attacks with that. Next was this. We have Ojama, one of my favourite decks. I keep updating this all the time. It's based around the idea of switching attack and defense and getting out a lot of XYZs. I run the Raccoon engine in here, so I can get out Ronin Raccoonin quite easily, as well as Gachi Gachi and Dark Mist. Yeah, Ojamas. They're cool cards. A lot of people underrate them. I think they're really cool. I haven't entered these in the tournament. I think I've entered these in the tournament once before. I think I did 1-5. I didn't do too well, but that was a long time ago when I first made them, so I might enter them again one day because they are quite updated now. A lot of good cards on there. Next, we have Watts. I've entered Watts in the tournament before, and I came last. I didn't win anything. Watts they're a cool idea, and they can be cool, but they have a kind of they're one-turn gimmick. Basically, they can attack. This is a stall deck. the Watts that I run a lot of the ones that can. I run the Wattlock variant, but so basically, hold on, let me see if I can get them out. So all these cards can attack directly, but they have small attack. So I run Messenger of Peace. So basically, you can't attack me, but I can attack you directly. And there's a card called Watper, which means you can't target Watts for attack. You get 2 on the field. You can't target any monsters for attack. And I just keep attacking little by little. It's like a weaker Toon deck with smaller attack. But I have won a lot of matches with this, just not any tournaments, stuff like that with it. It's fun. And they even have their own synchros, so that's quite interesting as well. Now we've got next, we have... Oh, sorry, that's one of my not completed decks. Talk about that here. Noble Knights. I've used this deck. I brought this deck to my locals once, not for tournament, just for play, like just casual play. This is unchanged from the Noble Knight box set thing that came out. And the only thing that I put in here is an MST because I didn't get an MST in the thing. And I was like, well, I probably should have MST. But it was really weird because so they're all platinum. So I wanted to get a platinum ST, but I couldn't really afford one. Or I couldn't find one, whatever. So I happened to have a Ghost Rare MST, so I just put that in and go, oh, it kind of matches this platinum-ish. So I just put that in, so it matches. But yeah, I haven't used this really at all. I just got it because it's like a cheap deck. Toons. Toons were my go-to deck before. I made a couple of other decks now, but yeah, this used to be my favourite deck. It was really good back then, when I started playing about a year ago. I was very happy when I got my 3 Toon Kingdoms. They're very expensive. I think they're still expensive. There are ways I could make this deck better, but because the way that people play Toons is you don't tend to want to play any of the high level Toons, which is I like to play high level Toons. So the better Toon player will not play any Toon, Ancient Gear Golem, any Toon, Buster Blade, any Toon, Red Eyes Dragon. Just they wouldn't, but I like to play those cards. That's why I'm not as good. This is a good deck. I really like this deck. Frogs. This is just a frog deck. This isn't even a competitive frog deck. This is just when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, I bought because I was a year ago I had no cards at all. So basically what I did was I bought loads of those random lots of like £2 each. I got 500 cards. And I got so many frogs, so I thought, well, I have all these frogs. I'm just gonna make a frog deck. So I made a frog deck, not a competitive one. Just put a bunch of frogs on the deck, just some store stuff. It's not really that good. Penguins are better. You heard it here first. Exodia. I was very happy when I got my 5 Exodia pieces. I got them before they came out in the Yu-Gi-Oh collection, and I got them all in gold, so I was very happy with that too. I like this deck quite a lot. My version of Exodia runs around Heart of the Underdog, so I run a lot of normal monsters. So basically just store until you get the Exodia pieces, and just hopefully get Heart of the Underdog on the field, then reveal a normal monster, and then you get to draw again, so just draw power. A lot of draw power. Ninja. One of my older decks as well. I made this because I had a load of the old generic ninja cards from when I got the lots. So this deck isn't too good. I really need to update this deck because there's a lot of decks here that I would say they are most of them are finished, but Ninja's probably one that isn't really finished. Like even though I can use it, there's a lot of I haven't used this deck or updated this deck in about 5 months. So I could probably do with doing that with Ninjas. Low level. One of my most recent decks, as well as statues. This revolves around monsters level 1, 2, 3, and just using that to their advantage. So I've got a lot of ones that, of course I run Gravity Bind and stuff like that. So it's basically me attacking them, but they not being able to attack me. I also run Relinquished and Thousand Eyed Restrict. Which is cool. Zombies. Out of my deck collection, this is my oldest deck. When I first started Yu-Gi-Oh, I made 2 decks. I made a zombie deck and I made a warrior deck. My warrior deck has since been taken apart, so I can use the cards at other places. But I hope to rebuild that someday. But this is the original zombie deck. It revolved around Zombie World and Zombies Red Eyes Black Dragon. If you don't know what he does, he's at the front. I will get him out. Basically, whenever he destroys a zombie type monster by battle, you can special summon it to your side of the field. So with Zombie World, they're all zombies, so you destroy the monster and then you get it, and you can do what you want with it. So it's cool. It's a fun deck. I used to run Exchange of the Spirit in this, but I thought that doesn't make any sense for this type of deck. So, but yeah, I like this deck a lot. I've made a zombie deck on Dev, which is going to be this deck in the future, which revolves around Plague Spreader Zombie and his synchros, stuff like that, which I hope to change it into that one at some point. Cosmo! So this is my serious deck. If I want to get serious, I play Cosmos. I have all of the Cosmos I need. this is a complete deck. I choose to only run one Cosmo Dark Lady, but I do have another in case I need another, but I only choose to run one. 3 Dark Destroyers, so I started building Cosmos before they were even announced for the Premium Gold pack, and I had a lot of the cards. So the only card, but by the time that Premium Gold, they were announced in Premium Gold, I had all of them apart from Dark Destroyers, 3 Dark Destroyers, and 2 Cosmo Farm Girl. So there's that. Because I already had I paid 20 quid for like a normal Farm Girl. It's kind of disappointing now, but yeah. Hopefully one day I will rebuild this deck, but with non-Premium Gold cards, because they just seem cooler. But yeah, this is a really good deck. It's really fun. People don't like it. I'm not as good at using it. I make a lot of mistakes when I play Cosmos, which is why I don't tend to run them as much. But if I want to get serious in a tournament, if I really want to win, I will play Cosmos. But here comes my last deck, which is my favourite deck, which is my current deck that I play all the time. It's Super Quantums. Super Quantums is my favourite deck. It's not exactly meta, but I think it has a card that people lose. As soon as that card gets on the field, the game is over. There is not a lot of ways to get that card. They're based around Power Rangers. In fact, I have my playmat over here is the Archetype himself. I like these. I like these guys a lot. They're a fun deck. So that's Quantums. Again, Quantums. So they're my finished decks. Or completed anyway. Here are my decks that I'm working on, which I have a lot of the cards for, or I'm starting to build. Okay. Utopia. I like the idea of having a Utopia deck. I play it on Dev all the time. This revolves around me getting out the Utopia card, basically just spamming the field with stuff like Goblinberg and Tin Goldfish and Star Drawing, and just get out the Utopia and then just keep ranking them up. It's a very good deck. Aromage, a very interesting deck. It's quite a slow deck, so it can't really compete with today's people. In a fun game, it'll be fine. This revolves around your life points being higher than your opponents, and then doing stuff based on that. So basically, all the cards have stuff like, if your life points are higher than your opponent's, then you get to do stuff, which is cool. And a lot of the cards revolve around you gaining life points each turn, the field spell, and a few other cards. This deck is actually quite expensive. Like, there's stuff in here like Aromage Jasmine, which is worth like 10 quid, and there's just lots of stuff like that that's worth a lot of money. Also, Cactus Bouncer. That card is very expensive. That card's like, it's really hard to find as well. So it doesn't even come on. Sometimes when I search eBay, I don't even see it. So it's very rare. Short print, I think. Good deck though. Cyber Dragon. This is a pure build of the Cyber Dragons. As you notice, a lot of my decks, I tend to build pure decks. I don't tend to mix stuff up. So I could run a different Cyber Dragon deck with. I could run a different deck with Cyber Dragon stuff in it, but I like to run pure decks. So what I'm missing from here is 2 Cyber Dragon Infinities and a bunch of other XYZs. So I'm gonna have to wait a bit for that. When I get paid, hopefully soon, I'll just probably go buy the 2 Infinities, and then the 6 done. So 6 Samurai, a long deck that I have been working on for a long time, but I always just get to it and go, I'd rather buy something else, because I used to be quite interested in this deck. This used to be my warrior deck. I used to run a lot of 6 Samurai cards, like, because I had no idea what I was doing. So that's why I tend to have a little bit of nostalgia for this deck, but not really. Yeah. Well, when I'll get this deck down, so I guess. Dark Magician. The cards that I'm waiting for this are cards that are not even out yet. I've based my deck on a lot of the cards that are coming out in the new Dark Illusion set, so I'm missing those cards essentially. So I could like put in some different cards until they come out to use it, but I'll rather just wait so I don't mess up the deck. It's all pretty much complete. See, good old Dark Magician. Just so you can see the Dark Magician I run that Dark Magician. And I run that Dark Magician, and I run that Dark Magician. I'm going to replace this Dark Magician with the black and white promo Dark Magician, which seems is a lot cooler. So there's that. Melodious, which was complete at one point, but I ended up not really using this deck at all, and I didn't have as much money at the time, so I ended up taking a lot of the cards out of this deck to put in other decks. So, but I will rebuild this someday. Especially with all the new support that's come out. It's very strange having Melodious support. Cloudians, a fun deck. I started playing it on Dev, and I really enjoyed myself, so I just built a deck. I haven't really made much progress into this deck, as you can see. There isn't really much going on in there, but it's quite cheap to make, so that's that. And Nurseburn. My burn deck. This card is very... I mean, this deck is very... not developed yet. I haven't even got sleeves to them. What this deck revolves around is... it's a burn deck with a difference. You play a card called... it's a nursed... you basically play a nursed card. At any point your opponent gains life points, they lose it instead. And it revolves around stuff like gift card and giving your opponent 3,000 life points, but then they lose it instead, so... But a lot of the cards are very expensive in this deck. Like, Try and Guess is very rare and expensive. Just the whole Nurse cards are quite expensive too. And there's a lot of cards in this deck, so they're just expensive. So, but yeah, that's my decks. I have a lot of decks. I like collecting decks. I like building decks. I currently have, I think, 66 on dev. And at one point, I hope to have a lot of those decks in real life. So, thanks for watching. Next time, we'll look at, I guess, the rest of my stuff. I've got a load of, like... weird Yu-Gi-Oh things that I'd like to show you. Like, I've got playmats, boxes, tins, stuff like that I'll show you. Okay, see you guys later.